What's up, my friends? Going to do a quick overview and how to play for Hunted North Pole, and then I'll follow that up by doing an actual playthrough. So I'll show you how to play the game, and then we'll just play it out and see how things go. So I've got it all set up here for a solo game. There's also a two-player variant in the rules if you want to play two-player, but it's mainly a solo game. And so everything kind of set up here. I'm choosing to play with Becky. You could also be Clarence, the other elf, if you so choose. I'm going to go with Becky here. So I've got her card, which gives me her stats, and I'll use these for skill checks. I also have the Becky ability cards down here. You can use those once throughout the game. You flip them over to the gray side when it's used, so you don't use it again. Also, please note that all of this is prototype components. I printed most of this off on my home computer, home printer, and so everything you see is subject to change, right? So if you're wondering about the colors, if you're wondering about, these are square tokens, these are going to be circles in the final. So anyway, all of this is prototype, print and play quality. It'll be much, much better in the final mass production copy. But anyway, so got it all set up here. A few things to take note of. We have our map card up here. This is how we're going to track our movement as we get through, go through the game. We have to go through A, B, C, and then get all the way to Jack Frost and defeat him. He has 20 health. That's what that 20 means, but to defeat him to win the game. So that's kind of how you win, is go through all of the map spaces. I'll kind of explain some of those nuances here in just a minute. Then we have the Hunted deck. This is where all the stuff is going on with the game. These are items and icons to do various things. There's enemies. There's things that are going to basically trigger throughout the game. This is where the core of the game is, kind of the push your luck element. Right here, we have this advent calendar looking time track. We're going to start on the 20, and doing different things costs time. And so you'll move along the calendar there. There's also these little icons on the calendar, and every time you land on, so this is a present icon, every time you land on, or if you were to pass over, because sometimes things cost you more than one time. So if you pass over or land on an icon, you get to draw a token. And these tokens give you different little bonuses. It might give you some extra health, might give you some extra ammo for your slingshot. Different things kind of give you a boost as you go throughout the game. Speaking of ammo, here's your slingshot. Every every weapon gets a tracker card. So you take the tracker card, put it there underneath the weapon card. You take a cube, and you're going to put it on how many shots you get, or how much durability if it's a melee weapon. But anyway, you have a few numbers here at the bottom. And these tell you, so the first number tells you how many shots you can take on one turn. So if I'm using the slingshot, I can shoot 3 times, and then the next number tells you which die to use, in this case the D4. So if I was going to attack with the slingshot, I could choose to shoot up to 3 times. I could use 3 D4 on a shot. I could do 1, 2, or 3. And then 12 tells you how many to start with. So we start off with 12 shots, and when in combat, I can use up to 3 D4s at once, and then when you roll those dice, you'll add them up. In this case, that was a pretty good roll. That would be a 9. I'm doing 9 damage right there. So that's what that means. And yeah, let's just kind of go through. Oh, also, event cards appear every time you move to a new location. You're going to draw an event card. Sometimes you move multiple locations, and in that case, so if I moved twice, then I draw 2 event cards and then choose which one I wanted to do. All right, so maybe one's a little more beneficial than the other one, so I can discard one and do the other. Anyway, we'll put that right back there, and now the game is ready to begin. So the first thing is, on my turn, I can either draw a card or hide, right? So if you're in trouble, you can hide, which is going to cost you time. We start with the time on the 20 right there, or the pawn on the 20 time. You can hide, which clears the row of any danger, any bad things that are happening, but also costs you time. But there's nothing in the row, nothing to worry about right now. So we're going to draw, and the first thing is we have a path. Now path cards allow us to move along the path, as you might expect, and so I can use this card to move 1 space if it gets activated. And the way it gets activated is you use icons in the top left corner to activate cards, and the cost is in the bottom right corner. So in this case, this card gives me a bell icon, which is like a sound, which is actually a negative. I'll explain that in just a minute. But it also gives me a carrot. Now, if there's another card in the row that uses carrots, I could spin this card and activate it. But this one needs a shoe. It needs a little elf boot to activate it. And so let's turn over another one, see what happens. Okay. See, now I have an elf boot that could activate this card. So if I wanted to, I could discard the cookies here and activate the path, which would also discard it. And I could move 1 space. I would draw an event and see what happens. And it might be combat. It might be a skill check. It might be just gain a resource, or it might be a cost or something like that. But I'm going to push my luck a little bit. Let's see what we got now. Now we have to think about it, though, because anytime you have 2 bell icons, if you draw an enemy, you immediately go into combat. You clear the row, and you immediately have to fight whatever enemy was drawn. Also, if you ever have an enemy in the row and then draw a second enemy, you have to fight as well, clearing the row. So that's the push your luck element right now. So if I wanted to, I could hide, which would clear the row, or I could activate a card, which would be a much smarter opportunity there, or I can keep pushing my luck, trying to get something better, knowing that I'm making a lot of noise right now, so I have to be very careful. Okay, well, our pushing of the luck paid off. It's almost like I planned this. Anyway, so the reindeer here uses carrots, and I have a carrot icon here. So if I wanted to, I could discard the path to activate the reindeer, which would allow me to move 2 spaces. See the 2 locations. The path here has 1, reindeer has 2 location icons in the top right, which would allow me to go 1, 2, and then I would draw 2 events, choose which one I want to do. Now, if I didn't want to do that, if I wanted to, for whatever reason, activate the reindeer to gain the cookies, this is an item, and it would go into my inventory down here. And this says discard to lose 1 time and gain 1 health. So maybe I'm low on health. I could discard this card, lose a time, and then gain a health. My health, tokens are right here. Anytime you take damage, you're going to flip one of them over to the X side. If you ever take a 5th damage, you lose the game. You have passed out. And I don't know if you're dead. I don't know if elves really die. They seem to be immortal creatures, but Jack Frost definitely wins. Right? He has kidnapped Santa, and he has ruined Christmas if you ever have 5 X's down there. Let's just keep pushing our luck and seeing what happens. Okay, here's an elf card. And if I had 2 search icons, see the 2 search down here, then I could also add her to my inventory, and she would allow me to, I could use these dice during combat. So it allows me to use 1d4, and then she would also get a tracker card there. So during combat, I could add basically 1d4 to my attacks, right? And I could do that up to 6 times that she would help me in battle. But also she has a special ability. It says flip this card to discard a non-enemy card from the row. And so if I wanted to just kind of exhaust her and not use her dice abilities anymore, I could flip her over and then do her ability in the row, getting rid of a non-enemy card if I so chose. Keep going. Got another path card. Another one where I could spend 2 boots. Then we got some ammo, so if I were to activate this card, I would add +5 to my slingshot. I'm already maxed out. You can't go over the maximum, so that would not be useful. Let's keep pushing our luck. Oh no, we have an enemy. And so this enemy comes out. It's going to clear the row. All of these cards get discarded. I put them right there. And then I have to fight this rather angry, gummy bear. He also has the combine attribute. You notice that? So combine, if you ever have a second, so instead of sound being the reason that I had to fight the bear, if it was another enemy, so let's say, so the gingerbread men and the gummy bears, they have the combine. And so if I had drawn another enemy instead of the noise, then I would have to fight both of them. Normally, you only have to fight one. So if I drew 2 toy soldiers, I'm just going to have to fight one of them. You have to fight whichever one is worse, whichever one has the most health. But if I have a bear or a gingerbread man that says combine, I have to fight them both. And so, but for right now, we're just going to fight the gummy bear for the sake of this one. And anytime you fight, you look at your weapon. And so let's just roll all 3 dice. Let's take 3 shots at him. That's going to drop this down to 9. And then I'm going to roll 3 d4s. Okay, so I did 8 damage, which is enough to destroy the bear. Anytime you roll dice in an attack, then you lose a time. So I would be down to 19 time right there, and the bear would go away. But let's say I didn't defeat him. Let's say I rolled this, so I only did, well, that would actually be 6. So let's say I only did 5 damage, and then I would take a 1 token, just replace it right there as a reminder that he only has 1 life left. And then I could roll again, and so it's a guaranteed, I'm going to lose a time. I have to roll a die, technically. I did a 3, so he is gone, and so token goes away, the bear goes away, and now I'm free to keep drawing from the hunted deck here. And yeah, try to move throughout the map, get all the way to Jack Frost. Oh, another quick thing is anytime there's a skill check, so let's say I had activated a path card, and I draw an event. Okay, so I have a paragraph to read. You walk by a large ornate mirror and get a glimpse of yourself from the corner of your eye. You walk back and stare at yourself. You're frazzled. You're worn out. You obviously have the weight of every boy and girl's Christmas on your shoulders. But an elf with hope is an elf with a chance. Roll charisma. Succeed and gain 2 health. Fail and lose 1 time. So gaining 2 health at this point, not the best thing in the world. Losing time, not a good thing either, though. The good thing about the A map is that I'm going to roll with advantage, and that means I roll 2 d20s. Okay, and I take the highest. Well, 12 is the highest, and then I'm going to add my charisma. My charisma is 3, so that's a 15. But then I look at the bottom of the map card, and it's 11. I need to roll at least an 11 or higher. That's the target number. It gets a little bit higher as you go. This one has a 12. Map C has 13, so it gets a little harder as you go. But this first map is kind of nice because you're always rolling with advantage. On the second map, you just roll 1 d20. No advantage unless you have some kind of token or item or something like that. But then C, you're rolling with disadvantage. The closer you get to Jack Frost, the harder the game gets. So if I am on this map, then in this case, this would be, I would have to choose the 9 because I'm rolling with disadvantage. So the closer you get, the more challenging things become. Another thing I want to point out on the map cards, if I'm in space 11, all right, and I get to move, I get to activate a path or a reindeer card, then I have a choice. I could either go 1, 2, and not have to worry about anything, or I can choose to lose 3 health. I could turn 3 of my health tokens over to take the shortcut and go right here. So if you've got some extra health, or you just want to push your luck, then these shortcuts are a good way to kind of move through the map a little bit faster, hoping that you don't get totally obliterated by an evil snowman in the next round. But anyway, that's how to play Hunted North Pole.